Look, life is precious. Life is sacred. Anytime life is lost, it is a tragic thing, particularly at such a young age. But the bottom line is what the left is now demanding of our law enforcement, whether it's the Border Patrol agents on our border with the crisis that exists there or what they demand of our police officers. This is a tough situation, but I don't know what else this officer could have done.
Jim Jordan reacting on that fatal shooting of a black teenage girl appeared to be trying to stab someone in southeast Columbus, Ohio. Critics say LeBron James is inciting violence after he posted a photo of the officer and writing, quote, "You're next." That tweet was taken down. Want to bring in our panel, Geraldo Rivera, Leo Terrell. Gentlemen, good day to both of you. Sensitive issue here. Yet again, here we are. LeBron shot up another tweet after that came down. It reads, "I'm so damn tired of seeing black people killed by police. I took the tweet down because it's being used to create more hate. This isn't about one officer. It's about the entire system, and they always use our words to create more racism. I am so desperate for more accountability," in all caps. LeBron is from Ohio, point that out. Senator Tom Cotton fired off this one. LeBron James is inciting violence against an Ohio police officer. This is disgraceful and dangerous. Is the NBA okay with this? Is Twitter and tweet? Geraldo, I'll begin with you.
You know, Bill, I think that LeBron James, King James, is an example of if you have great influence, it should also carry great responsibility. He should have kept his mouth shut until the facts were revealed. As it was, the video clearly shows the cop doing what the only thing the cop could have done to spare the life of another child. The video clearly shows the 16-year-old, the victim of the police shooting, to be in the process of knifing another child to death. You know, there is, another Ohio killing of a teenager this week, not being talked about as much, that is, I think, revelatory when it comes to the situation in Columbus. In your hometown, Bill, in Cincinnati, Ohio, on Monday night, a 13-year-old girl, a black child, killed another 13-year-old, knifed her to death. They were schoolmates. That shows the environment in which the cops often act. It is fraught with violence, fraught with peril. You don't know what's going on, and I think that that is a reality. But LeBron James, with the responsibility he has, should have kept his mouth shut until more was known, Bill.
Geraldo, thank you for that. Leo?
There was plenty known at the time that LeBron James made that comment. What LeBron James did is he put a bounty on that officer. He put a target, a bullseye on that officer. LeBron James and Benjamin Crump put out misinformation. Why? And Ben Crump said the woman was unarmed. She had a knife. Why, Bill? Because there is a war against law enforcement. Here's the big lie, the systemic racism, and I wish Geraldo and everyone on the left who believes that cops are killing black people all the time. Miranda Devine did a great article, New York Post, how many unarmed African Americans killed in April up until this year in 2021? 3. And in 2019, 12. If you listen to LeBron James when he said, "I'm sick and tired of police killing black people," what about black on black crime? What about when black police officers are killed? What about David Dorn? Talk about the other black people who are being killed. Stop attacking police officers.
I get it. When you think about Chicago and how many years we've been covering that, thinking about the crime, gentlemen, and major American cities, LA and New York, just look at what's happened here. Shootings are up 64% and 47% in LA. The homicide, 6% in New York, 40% in LA. Car theft, 19% in New York, LA, 38%. I mean, this is going in the wrong direction. In the meantime, here in Midtown Manhattan, which is really probably the business heartbeat of America, one could argue. I mean, it's still a ghost town because of COVID, but you've got all these vagrants now who are living here, and the mayor's right now going to send 80 uniformed officers and supervisors in through the area to try and clear things out over the next 2 weeks. They've got a similar deal on Skid Row in LA. Geraldo, if you don't clean up this problem, these cities don't come back.
I agree, Bill, and I am heartened. I happen to be in Los Angeles right now, that a federal judge has just ordered the city of Los Angeles to find housing for all these homeless, these vagrants, the Skid Rows of this, the second largest city in the country, long past due. But going back to the environment we're talking about, First of all, I reject the statistics of those who are supporting the police. 1,000 were killed by police last year, or in 1 year, and they were per capita, they were 2 times as many blacks killed than whites. Of course, black people live in a much more violent environment than whites do, and we have to recognize that reality. But the anguish from the George Floyd murder, you can call it a murder now the jury has ruled, is, I think, reflective of a reality that cannot be ignored. I get that cops have a tough job. I get that this is a society that is now racially divided and that poverty pimps and others are dividing us along racial lines, and that cops have a tough job. But if we are not sensitive to the fear that black families, particularly minority families more generally, have of their kids going out at night and being hurt by cops, we deny another reality. We have to understand that cops have their reality, the community has theirs.
Just that
yes, there's violence.
Right.
We don't want the police contributing to it.
We've been watching this thing in Chicago. It's just
crickets
every time. Leo, quickly, got to go.
Very quickly, you see what Geraldo did? Typical game. You conflate the George Floyd case, and every case is a George Floyd case. That's a lie. Every case has to be looked at individually. And all those cities you named, Bill, they're Democratic cities that are apologists to the extreme that allow them to loot and rob. Every one of those cities that's having a crime wave, Democratic cities, everyone knows why. Appeasement.
Gentlemen, thank you. Geraldo and Leo are now in the same city, Los Angeles.
Look out.
I smell a peace pipe. Thank you, fellas.